I just completed a 10 hours shift with hyphen. I just completed a 10-hour shift with hyphen. I just completed a 10 hours shift, no hyphen. I just completed a 10-hour shift, no hyphen. Which of these sentences is correct? Compound means the uniting of two or more elements. Adjective is one of the 8 parts of speech in English grammar. It describes nouns and pronouns. She wore a short green dress to the party. Short and green described the noun dress. So, what are compound adjectives? Hello everyone, I'm Paula and welcome to my channel where I bring you insightful English grammar lessons to improve your knowledge of English. Today's lesson will be a masterclass on compound adjectives. Let's get right into it. Compound adjectives are the uniting of words or the combination of 2 or more words to perform the role of an adjective in a sentence. They are usually connected by hyphens. I like sun-dried tomatoes. Sun-dried is a compound adjective used to describe tomatoes. We use a hyphen to connect sun and dried to show one adjective giving one meaning. What type of tomatoes do I like? I like sun-dried tomatoes. Here is another sentence. There are many snow-capped mountains in the Swiss Alps. What type of mountains are in the Swiss Alps? They are capped with snow. So to give one meaning, we place a hyphen between snow and capped to form a compound adjective, snow-capped mountains. But do you have to use a hyphen between these words to make them a compound adjective? The use of the hyphen is very important because it prevents misunderstanding of the meaning that the sentence intends to convey. For example, he is an old shoe repairer. This sentence is telling us that the shoe repairer is an old man. Old is describing the person who repairs the shoes. He is an old man. Now, in our next sentence, he is an old shoe repairer. There's a hyphen between old and shoe. The hyphen between old and shoe tells us that this is a compound adjective. It wishes to convey one idea or meaning. Old is describing the shoe, so the meaning conveyed is that this repairer repairs old shoes. The repairer could be a young man. The fact is, he repairs old shoes. So the use of the hyphen is very important to tell us what the writer wants us to understand. But do you know when compound adjectives should be hyphenated and when they should not be hyphenated? For example, do you write up to date with hyphens between the words or up to date without hyphens? To make that decision, there are 2 rules to follow. Rule number 1. Compound adjectives are usually hyphenated when they immediately come before the noun they describe. This is when we want them to act as a single idea to describe something. For example, our office invested in up-to-date technologies to stay competitive in the market. Up-to-date is hyphenated. Up-to-date is the compound adjective that is used to describe the noun technologies. It comes immediately before the noun technologies. Here is another example. A hard-working assistant is difficult to find. Hardworking is hyphenated. It is the compound adjective that is used to describe the noun assistant. It comes before the noun. Rule number 2. Compound adjectives are usually not hyphenated when they come after the noun they describe and are preceded by a form of the verb to be. For example, the technologies our office invested in are up to date. The words up to date are not joined by hyphens because they come after the noun they describe, which is technologies. They are written with spaces between them instead of hyphens. Here is another example. We need an assistant who is hard working. The words hardworking are not joined by hyphens because they come after the noun they describe, which is assistant. They are written with spaces in between them instead of hyphens. To recap, let's look at these examples side by side. Remember, in rule number 1, the compound adjective comes before the noun and we use hyphens between the words. In rule number 2, the compound adjectives come after the noun. They are not hyphenated and they are preceded by a form of the verb to be. So let's look at the examples now. Our office invested in up-to-date technologies to stay competitive in the market. Up-to-date is hyphenated. It is the compound adjective that comes before the noun technologies. If we write that sentence without the hyphens, the compound adjectives come after the noun. Our sentence would read, the technologies our office invested in are up to date. The other example was, a hard-working assistant is difficult to find. The compound adjective hardworking is hyphenated. It comes directly before the noun assistant. If we rewrite the sentence to read, we need an assistant who is hardworking, no hyphen is used with the compound adjective hardworking. And our last example, he is a well-known athlete all over the world. Well-known is hyphenated. It comes before the noun athlete. But if we place it after the noun, no hyphen is used. Our sentence would be, the athlete is well-known all over the world. How are compound adjectives formed? Compound adjectives may be formed in many ways using a combination of parts of speech, numerals with words of measure, and periods of time. Let's go through a number of the ways that compound adjectives are formed. Number 1, we form compound adjectives using number and periods of time. For example, 40 hour. The Staff Association voted for a 40-hour work week. 2 week. Sally will be going on her 2-week vacation. 10 second. There was a 10-second delay in the reporting of the news. Note number 1. A hyphen is placed between the number and the word for the period of time to form a compound adjective. Note number 2. The word referring to the period of time is always singular, so we say 40 hour, not 40 hours. And note number 3, the number in a compound adjective is written as a word, not a numeral. So 2 week, 2 would be written as a word and not as a numeral. Number 2, compound adjectives are formed by a combination of a number and words of measure. For example, 3 foot, 5 mile, 10 pound, The carpenter had a 3-foot measuring tape. The marathon is a 5-mile walk. She had a 10-pound baby. Note number 1. A hyphen is placed between the number and the word of measure to form a compound adjective. The word of measure would be foot or mile or pound. Note number 2. The word referring to the unit of measure is always singular. So we say 3 foot and not 3 feet. And note number 3. The number in a compound adjective is written as a word, not a numeral. So 5 mile would be 5 written as a word and not 5 written as a numeral. Our third combination to form a compound adjective is a number and a noun. For example, 7-story, 30-page, 1 way. 7 is the number, story is the noun. 30 is the number, page is the noun, and 1 is a number, way is the noun. Here are the sentences. They lived in a 7-story apartment building. Melody just completed a 30-page journal. I bought a 1-way ticket to Jamaica. Note number 1. A hyphen is placed between the number and the noun to form a compound adjective. Note number 2. The noun in a compound adjective combined with a number is singular. So we say 30-page and not 30 pages. And note number 3. The number in a compound adjective is written as a word, not a numeral. So 30 is written as a word, not 30 as a numeral, to get 30 page. Our fourth combination is an adjective and a noun. Here are the examples: short term, long distance, high quality. The rental contract was for a short-term period. The athlete is a famous long-distance runner. The store sells only high-quality products. Note: a hyphen is placed between the adjective and the noun to form a compound adjective. Our fifth combination is an adjective and a present participle. Examples: tight-fitting, foul-smelling, slow-moving. The young lady wore a tight-fitting dress to the party. The foul-smelling garbage needed to be taken out. We all boarded a slow-moving train. Note: the hyphen is placed between the adjective and the present participle to form a compound adjective. Our sixth combination is an adjective and a past participle. Here are the examples: short-lived, quick-witted, cold-hearted. The excitement of the carnival was short-lived because of the sudden downpour of rain. He has a quick-witted sense of humor. The cold-hearted villain showed no remorse for his actions. And our note is the hyphen is placed between the adjective and the past participle to form a compound adjective. Number 7 is a combination of a noun and an adjective. For example, world famous, smoke free, ice cold. The world famous singer will be performing at the concert hall. The entire office is a smoke-free environment. After work, Tom likes to have an ice-cold beer from the bar. And our note says a hyphen is placed between the noun and the adjective to form a compound adjective. Our eighth combination is a noun and a present participle. English speaking, mouth watering, record breaking. Barbados is an English speaking country. We had some mouth watering patties from Jamaica. A record breaking storm passed through the Caribbean. A hyphen is placed between the noun and the present participle to form a compound adjective. Number 9 is a combination of the noun and a past participle. For example, homemade, sun-dried, silk-lined. We will be having Nancy's homemade cookies at the party. My mom cherishes her jar of sun-dried tomatoes. I am shopping for some silk-lined curtains. And our note reads, a hyphen is placed between the noun and the past participle to form a compound adjective. And our last combination in this list of forming compound adjectives is an adverb and a past participle. The examples are carefully planned, softly spoken, well read. The school graduation service was a carefully planned affair. Her softly spoken words had a calming effect on everyone. And the new teacher is well read in a variety of subjects, including history. Note, a hyphen is placed between the adverb and the past participle to form a compound adjective. But are there exceptions to the rules to form compound adjectives? Yes, we do have exceptions. Let's look at some notes and exceptions to compound adjectives rules. Number 1. A hyphen is used in all compound adjectives formed with the prefix self, regardless of its position in a sentence. That is, whether it comes before the noun or after the noun. For example, he is a self-taught musician. Here, the compound adjective self-taught comes before the noun. But in our next sentence, meditation cultivates a sense of self-awareness. Self-awareness is a compound adjective, but it comes after the noun. Number 2, a hyphen is used in numerical adjectives from 21 through 99. For example, Sally celebrated her 31st birthday last Friday. We use a hyphen between 30 and first. The president was elected on the 22nd count. A hyphen is placed between 20 and second. So any number combination between 21 and 99, we always use a hyphen between them. Number 3, do not put a hyphen between two adjectives. For example, they lived in an old, big, yellow house. We do not put hyphens between old, big, and yellow. They are all adjectives describing the house, so we use commas to separate them. Number 4, do not put a hyphen between an adverb ending in ly and an adjective to form a compound adjective, because the adverb already modifies the adjective rather than the noun. For example, we have mildly calm weather today. Mildly is the adverb and it already modifies the adjective calm. Our next example, it's a terribly hot day. Terribly is the adverb and it modifies the adjective hot. So we do not need a hyphen between them. But what is the difference between A terribly hot day, when terribly is an adverb ending in ly, and a brightly lit room, which also has an adverb ending in ly. Let's explain. Terribly is the adverb that modifies the adjective hot. It is telling us about the adjective hot, not about the noun day. So no hyphen is necessary. Whereas brightly lit, brightly is the adverb that modifies lit, which is the past participle of the verb to light. It is part of the compound adjective describing the room, so a hyphen is necessary. And our last note is number 5. When there is a series of compound adjectives that are not fully expressed, retain the hyphen through all of the adjectives. For example, the building complex included 2, 3, and 4 bedroom houses. We put a hyphen after 2, 1 after 3, because we are saying 2 bedroom, 3 bedroom, and 4 bedroom houses. Next example, 1, 2, and 5 acre parcels of land will be for sale in the future. We put a hyphen after 1 because we're saying 1 acre. We put a hyphen after 2 because we're saying a 2 acre. And 5 acre parcels of land will be for sale in the future. So now we should be able to answer the question that we had at the beginning of the lesson. Our correct answer is, I just completed a 10-hour shift. 10-hour being hyphenated. Well, that's it for this lesson. I hope you found it very useful. If you have not as yet subscribed to my channel, please do so now and turn on the notification bell so that you won't miss any of my lessons. Thank you again for joining. See you next time. Bye-bye.